The auroral diamond glows with an orange light, the warm flicker of a candle, or the fierce heat of a bonfire. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Radiant Stories. I'm your humble DM, Lauren, here to tell a story with some amazing players situated on the Radiant Citadel, and I'm just going to let them introduce themselves.
Hello, I am Jen Kretschmer. You can find me on Twitter as @DreamWisp, streaming on Twitch as DreamWispJen. We'll talk more about other stuff later, but for now, today I am playing your friendly neighborhood Spring Eladrin College of Creation cottagecore bard, Wisteria.
Hey there, I'm Johnny Stanton. I am an NFL fullback who loves D&D enough to tell everybody about it. Today I'm playing the Harbinger of Chaos, the follower of the Fallen, the one that was foretold. Mark of the Beast, baby.
Hello, everybody. My name is KP. I go by KP Living Studios everywhere, and I do sensitivity consultation, photography, D&D, all the things with wonderful people like this. And I get to play BB, my sorcerer kobold. So super, super excited about that guy. He's always very excited.
Hey, I'm excited for all of you, and I should be, because I'm your humble DM, Lauren Urban, and before we jump into the game, a couple quick announcements. First off, thank you to Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms for the code. I see we have a whole bunch of people already in chat grabbing that code for an Electrum chest. Enjoy. Also, thank you to Anansi's Tapestry of Lives, which the Kickstarter is going to be starting very soon. It is a book of over 100 unique and useful NPCs, each paired with a professionally voice-acted monologue. There's stat plots, magic items, side quests, and so much more. There's over 50 writers who are working to bring you 300 pages of amazing TTRPG content, including Keith Baker, Jasmine Bular, Tanya DePass, Ed Greenwood, Jim Zub, and a whole bunch of people who've been on this show, like Jennifer Kretschmer, Bashir Goose, and Mario Otegon. You can get a sample PDF by adding your email to the Backer Kit page. There'll be a link showing up in chat, and you should definitely check it out. In fact, if you do check it out, you might notice a couple of NPCs from that book showing up in here. Speaking of showing up in here, let's talk a bit about what happened last time. I'm gonna prompt Mark to go first, because I feel like asking Mark to explain or to describe how he met up with the rest of the group might be a unique experience.
So here I was, minding my own business, doing the work of the beast. When I found that this half-elven, smelled pretty bad woman speak of the beast. So I thought, that must be some sort of sign. I bothered her until she decided to allow me to come with her to the rest of her friends. One is a very small kobold. The other one is a very small, not really sure yet. Since then, we have been hopping around the Radiant Citadel, trying to find out what's been going on with this mystery. We went to an instrument shop. We went to this one guy who makes this weird metal. And now the first exciting thing that has been happening, we're going to see a show, until it just recently got blown up.
Well, there's been an explosion. Maybe. There's been an explosion. And you know what? Is there anything else that BB or Wisteria would like to jump in and talk about before we jump into that explosion?
Well, we did coin the term sacrifice, which I think was key.
We made a band.
Yeah, we made a band.
We did.
Best recorder band on the Radiant Citadel.
Yeah, quartet. We took a quick jaunt over to San Citlan, where we were investigating the tungsten that we had found. So there's only one merchant who sells tungsten, who is Master Gustavo Salazar, who has the Marfil Ironworks. And he directed us over to the instrument shop, and we did a little bit of work there. We found out that they were using it to coat strings for at Paracha Strings. they
For
were being
interplanar
used
travel, right?
Mhm.
to
Yeah, it's
protect
like to
against
prevent-
interplanar travel.
Yeah. Essentially, we found it on the very first adventure. We found it tying a non like a interplanar beast that shouldn't technically be here. They should be able to move around, go off, but someone was using tungsten to tie them to this plane and essentially cause chaos. So, yeah, that's pretty much covers pretty much everything, right? I mean, did we miss anything else that I can't recall?
Well, and then everybody learned how to play hot cross buns on the recorder,
And then hot
which
cross
I
buns,
feel
yes, of
like
course.
we can't
Most
skip over
important.
that. It's yeah.
Yep.
Have you come up with a name for your band yet?
We will find one by the end of the episode.
All right, because otherwise I'm calling it the Sacrifices, and that's what we're
I
going with.
love it.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
The sacrificial victims.
You are the
Oh my god,
Sacrifices.
that's our fan. Those are our fans.
There you go. There you go.
Sacrifices.
Sacrificial rights.
Done. I love it. I love it.
Sacrificial rights is really good.
Yes.
I think that's got to be it.
That's your
think that has to
title
be it.
song. That's your title song. That's like the first
That's our-
album you
that's our,
put out.
First album, yeah.
Yeah. That's the A side of that album, and then the B side is going to be something very Led
It's
Zeppelin.
something more like, a little more experimental. Yeah. That's the all recorder side.
It's on the recorder side. This is the conversation you're having as you get off of the jewel that has led you from Sansadlan back to the Radiant Citadel. And as I left off on a cliffhanger last week, you were headed for the Auroral Amphitheater because you know that there's a performance going on of the People's Players, and that one of the people in that group got strings from the person that you talked to in Sansatlan, and we're hoping to have a chat with them and find out some more information. And then there was an explosion.
Mhm.
And that's where we're gonna pick up about 10 to 15 seconds later, because I am assuming you are heading in the direction of said explosion, especially since it seems to be coming from the Auroral Amphitheater.
Mark is panicked running towards the amphitheater because his favorite band looks like it's like from a distance possibly just went up in flames.
Mhm.
That's fair.
It could be pyrotechnics, but also BB's here with us, so we know
Oh,
it wasn't
what-
BB's doing here.
Yeah, true. I mean, I don't think I've ever made one that big.
BB, in your expert fire opinion, that's not a pyrotechnic. It's too haphazard to be a very coordinated display of anything. That's something wrong.
That's the sound my shop made. So I don't think that's fireworks.
Well, so BB, you know a lot about explosions. Is there anything you can tell us? Hey, Mark, do you want to wait for the rest of us?
I'm like 50 feet ahead of you. The People's Players.
Right. I mean, I feel like we need a plan.
Also,
Are we really
Justina
gonna go?
has booked on ahead and she's already gone.
Okay. I mean, I don't know what we can do. I mean, I feel like I'm the wrong person for this job. I feel like I'm just gonna make it a bigger explosion. But if you want me around, I guess I'll follow along. But I don't.
We are the right people for this job. This is our moment. We are here to save the People's Players. Let's go.
I admire your enthusiasm.
I do too. And during this run and chat, as you are heading over to the Auroral Amphitheater, you arrive at this moment, and I'm going to paint a little picture for you, and then we're going to do a skill challenge, as you have arrived at this 2-story building that some of you might have been in before. The Auroral Amphitheater, the bottom floor of it is a kind of an open space that with 3 entrances. If there's not really cardinal directions on the Radiant Citadel, but if you were to say north was towards where the actual diamond is, the bottom floor have entrances to the south, east, and west. And the interior has a lot of places for people to sit and stand and chat. It's kind of a lounge area. And then there are 2 ramps that lead up to the 2nd floor where the actual amphitheater is. Once again, if we're thinking about fake cardinal directions, the north side actually butts right up against the diamond. And what makes this amphitheater so special is the diamond is literally used as part of the shell for this amphitheater. The So the back of it becomes not just the backdrop, but the back of the stage area. And wings have been added onto the sides that curve around and then turn into the walls for the upper area. There's no ceiling. It is just open to the sky and to see the rest of the diamond. And up there, not only is there the stage area, but there's a place in where a bunch of different performances can be arranged. So either a bunch of chairs can be set out for something a little more sedate. In this case, you're pretty sure that there's probably going to be room for some dancing going on as the People's Players do a variety of stuff. There's seats along the walls for people to sit and enjoy. So it's kind of a space that can be altered on the fly for whatever is going on. You know that about 100 people can fit into this building in general. And I'm saying that just for context, not that I'm going to be counting people specifically. So it's a small space, but it's an intimate space. And because it's open, usually the people who are nearby this building can actually hear performances as they're going on, especially this one, as you know that this was going to be one of the first times they were going to be employing thaumaturgy to help with the acoustics of this performance.
Ooh.
The last thing I'll describe, as you are essentially at the south end of this building, looking at what's going on, the explosion, the fire, the whatever has happened is the back right side, the northeast-ish corner. Something's going on over there. You hear people screaming, you hear shouts of fear, shouts for help. You see people running to get some of the guards that are usually around for safety's sake. And as you arrive, because all of you are seasoned adventurers, you can kind of tell that there's several things that you can do to help out. And so here we go. I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to put that in the chat just to make life easier anyway. So the way that this skill challenge is going to work is that each of the things that I'm going to describe are things that you can do to help. And you need to succeed on 3 of these things in order to do the most good for the most number of people. 2 successes for any of those is all you need to consider it a success. So for example, one of the things you can do is deal with the spreading fire. The building is on fire actively, and it's getting worse. So if someone wants to do something to put the flames out or redirect the flames, 2 successes, doing something to get rid of the fire or stop the spread will be considered one of the obstacles taken care of. You can also, the corner of this building is looking really rickety. Whatever happened to this thing, the structural integrity is bad. Maybe there's something you can do about that. There's 2 ramps that lead up to the 2nd floor. One of them is now completely blocked. People are unable to pass. And if you could clear out that ramp, that'd help a lot of people get off of the 2nd floor real easily. Speaking of a lot of people, there's a lot of people around, and many of them are hurt or scared or panicking. So if there's anything you can do to help those people, they would be of great assistance. And finally, it may not be your first priority, but you all know that whatever caused this to happen, every moment that goes by, that there's an active fire, that there's an active of people running around, any evidence that you could find to figure out what went on could be lost. And so if you wanted to spend a little bit of time actually investigating what caused this explosion, you can do that. So we're not going to do initiative or anything, but we are going to take turns. Whatever you would like to do to tackle any of these obstacles, if you have a spell, if you have an ability, if you want to just describe what you're doing, you tell me and I'll make it work. So who would like to go first?
Oh boy. I don't see a whole lot of options for charisma charisma-based characters here.
Well, may
I
I?
can make
I'm
fire. I don't know
being-
if I can
And
put out.
it would be a shame if we had 3 of 3 charisma-based
I
characters
know.
today.
I
Um,
I
I'm a
will
wisdom-based
say,
one.
there are a lot of people. Panic is a thing that people do when they don't have direction, and it can be dangerous in a situation like this. And maybe some of you charisma-based characters could lean into that a little bit. But I'm just making suggestions.
Do I see anybody who is like supposed to be somewhat in charge who looks like they're kind of panicking and don't know what to do right now?
Absolutely. You can see in through the front doors, the southern doors, which are open at this moment. You see a well-dressed tiefling, blue skin, elaborate horns, like painted in the same color blue. She's in what looks like kind of a tuxedo dress, and she looks like she is someone. Maybe she was waitstaff. Maybe she was a person who was directing people. She obviously works at this facility, and you can tell that she's trying to help, but it's failing. This is not something that she's ever been trained for. This is not something that she's ever been prepared for. And there's a lot of her standing near the door, just in wide-eyed panic and looking like she's about to do something and then stopping.
Okay. So she's definitely the only person who seems like she works at this location or a guard or anything like that. She's the person who's closest to that right now.
She's the closest to you
Okay.
right now. Absolutely.
Cool. If you guys will allow me to, I will go up to her and cast friends on her. And I would like to go up to her, try to grab her by the shoulders and say, you listen to me. You need to help get everybody out of here because you're the only one who knows how to do that right now. So why don't you go round up some people, get the injured people help, and let's go. And I'm going to use like persuasion check, I guess, to do that, if I can do that at advantage.
Absolutely. So real quick, when you cast friends, there's a save for that, right?
No, it's just automatically advantage on charisma checks.
Okay. Then give me that advantage charisma check.
Cool. First one is a dirty 20. Second one is 24.
Excellent. Your calm, authoritative voice and your assured demeanor, it's not that it calms her, it focuses her. And she nods at you and says, absolutely, yes, I can stand. Yes, I can definitely get to some of the people that are stuck inside and get them out. Thank you. And she goes,
Good go.
She goes heading back inside, deeper into the facility to help with some of the people who are cowering in the back, unsure where to go. And you see that now she is helping people get out. And that is a success.
And I'm going to, if you'll let me, I'm going to turn to BB and say, I take off my necklace. I say, I think this may help you. The beast rains his blessings down upon those who wear this. So why don't you just try that? And I'm just going to run off towards the group of people in the southeast corner, or the corner where you said all the stuff's happening.
Yes.
You just see BB like look at. Okay. How does it work? And you just see him run off.
Out of character, it is my Pact of the Talisman boon. So you can use a D4 for a ability check.
Okay, cool. Awesome. As BB's like looking around like, what do I do? Okay, think. Okay. And then instantly a couple of ideas running through my head. First one, can I produce water with prestidigitation? Holy shit, I got it right the first time.
You did. I don't remember if it produces water, but I believe prestidigitation lets you snuff out a small flame, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yes,
so that's the other option I was thinking. And so how many, like, would it be able to control the flames that are going on, or is it just so out of control, raging fire that wouldn't work on it?
It's not that it's wildly out of control. You're not quite at that point yet. You've gotten here so fast that there's still a lot of chance to not only contain this, but save the building essentially. Prestidigitation is a small fire, but here's what I'll say. Give me either an Arcana or an investigation check to see if you can tell key spots in where you can snuff out the fire to basically stop it from advancing or stop it from destroying something.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Arcana, or what was the other option?
Arcana or investigation.
Yep, definitely Arcana. Let's do this. Ooh! That was a nat 20.
Hey,
For
nice.
a total of 24.
Excellent. Yeah, you're an expert at fire, whether intentionally or not. You know exactly where, especially in the front and sides of this building, you can just, and it's not that you snuff out huge sections. Prestidigitation can only do so much. But you're able to move and get these key points where it's just about to hit a beam that would be a piece of structural integrity. It's just about to jump over to a new part of the building. It's just about to, and you're able to just grab all of those spots, and that is a success for sure. Is there anything else you want to do?
It's just to add a little. If I could add a little flavor to how
Always.
it happened. The way you would see him, because he's a smart guy. And he's like, well, sometimes like what makes fire? Oh, it feeds by oxygen. So a better fire or a stronger fire can take away the oxygen from it. So you see him doing like little mini, or what looks to be like mini fireballs every time that gets snuffed out, but it takes away the oxygen from the other fire. And that's how it's like fire with fire. Kind of a moment there that he's trying to, because he can't do water. And outside of that, how heavy is that ramp?
The ramp is a structural part of the building. There's two of them, and they kind of curve up to the second floor. At the moment, if you're looking at the one that has the rubble that is blocked off, it's not that the ramp is collapsed. It's that part of the second floor above it has collapsed on top of it, and it's just covered in rubble.
Ooh. And so I don't think Mage Hand would be strong enough, I'm assuming, then, to move this aside at all.
You're pretty sure Mage Hand is not going to be strong enough for most of the pieces that would be integral to making a space.
Oh, it has to be. Okay, this has to be a creature. Never mind. And then you just see like BB look around as he's doing this. He goes, I don't know if I can do anything else, but let me know. And he kind of turns to Wisteria, like just shrugging his shoulders, like, what do I do?
And Wisteria, what would you like to do?
May I use Entangle in a slightly different way than it's traditionally used?
Tell me what you want to do.
To try and use it to help brace the building.
Okay. And Entangle is the spell that makes difficult terrain and the vines. Read off to
so
me
the idea is
Entangle.
Sure. So Entangle normally is grasping weeds and vines sprout from the ground in a 20-foot square starting from a point within range. They turn the ground into difficult terrain. Creatures have to succeed on strength saving throws or be restrained by the entangling plants until the spell ends. And it's a strength check against it.
Excellent. Here's what I'm going to say. You can absolutely do this, and it will work. I would like you to either roll a nature check or an arcana check to make sure that it doesn't spread too far, that it would accidentally catch people.
Absolutely. That is a 22.
Excellent. You very expertly place this spell.
It's a butterfly weed. So it's these orange, yellow, and red flowers that have 5 petals each that appear. And so it sort of just starts branching out and encasing the area that looks like it's the weakest and might collapse to sort of brace it and hold those pieces in place as much as possible. And then I would like to, if I may, also use my mini stuffed entity to help direct people, sort of, airline style. tiny little myconic just directing
Just
people to
mirroring
the
the little
exits.
tiefling that I talked to, just like she's doing this, and like the little mic is just this.
Just running up onto their shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's what I'm gonna say. They can't do it themselves, but they're gonna run on in, and if you'll let them, the blue tiefling that Mark was talking to, who is doing some of that, they'll go and help them and
Perfect.
give them advantage on helping to guide people out.
Fantastic.
All right. Mark, as you are moving around the right side of the building from where you were, the corner that had this thing happen, you see Wisteria's vines creep over the wall and fortify everything really kind of beautifully. You're not sure how long it'll hold because they are vines and there is fire, but it's strong. And so you think you got a little bit of time. We've got a success on dealing with the spreading of the fire, a success on stopping a corner of the building from collapsing, and a success on helping people escape. So, Mark, what would you like to do?
So can you tell me, now that I'm running to that corner of the amphitheater, do I see like a crowd of people? Do I see that everybody's kind of like fled the area? If I were to investigate, like what am I even looking at?
Are you running inside or outside the building?
Oh, I thought I would be inside because I thought that's where the explosion came from.
Give me
that was wrong.
Give me a perception check for free.
Okay. 15.
Okay. So you kind of take the briefest of moments. You've tossed your talisman to BB and you take in the scene. If you go inside, you think you're going to see a lot more people, and it's possible if you're trying to do this investigation, there might be people close by to whatever happened that you could either talk to or help escape to talk to later. If you go outside, that back corner, it's one of the corners that's up against the diamond, and it's kind of under the ramp. So you don't think you're going to see any people there, but from this vantage point, that you're pretty sure that's where at least the source of whatever happened. So you're going to get more people on the inside and you're going to get more stuff on the outside. Which would you like to do?
Let's go outside. I'll run up to that little area where there doesn't seem to be any people and try to see what happened.
All right. Give me an investigation check.
Plus 0, but a straight up 10. Need that talisman, Arna.
Hey, you were helping your friend.
I have thrown a bardic inspiration out previously, or did I not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'll say as Mark is taking that moment to look, what kind of bardic inspiration?
Pulls out a dandelion and goes, and one of the seeds comes and starts circling your head. So different things that you apply it to will impact what the additional bonus effects are of it. But you have a bardic inspiration.
What size? D6?
It's a D6 right now.
Cool. I will use that.
Cool.
Plus 4 to a 14.
And that was on a skill check or an ability check? On an ability check, you can roll the bardic inspiration die twice and use the higher one if you would like to.
Amazing.
Nice.
You made it a 16.
Hey, there we go.
Thank you.
Yeah. The Wisteria literally helped you succeed on this. So
Awesome.
It's loud, it's chaotic, there's smoke, there's the heat of the fire, there's a lot going on, but you've already kind of centered yourself enough and are taking a look around. And in this moment, you notice two things. One, you take a whiff because it's fire. Whatever it's burning, whatever caused it to burn, that's going to have a smell. That's going to have an indication of an odor. And if there was a combustible thing, you would be able to at least smell it in the air. You don't smell anything. Whatever caused this fire, it seems like it was kind of a flash, like almost like if BB had set off a fireball. There's nothing there to burn. Fire just started. You do also see it's way back in the corner. It's actually the wall of this amphitheater and the auroral diamond are butted up against each other, but there is a small little gap, like a couple of inches. And right at the bottom in the corner there, surrounded by fire, you notice what looks like a half-destroyed metal box. You can't see on the inside. You can see kind of the ripped pieces of metal that show that, oh, this is something that had to do with this explosion.
Cool. Do I see much other damage to the structures around it? Obviously, the damage to the building, but like just in this direct area, is there a lot of damage besides the box?
Actually, no. So you would know, just like everybody else, that the auroral diamond is, as far as anyone knows, indestructible. No one's ever been able to make a dent, a scratch, nothing. So it's fine. The building itself has all the destruction. And then, fortunately, in this case, because it is a amphitheater, because it is a performance space, there's not really any other buildings right next to it, because it's the equivalent of no one wants to live right next to the stadium. So there's enough of a distance with the next couple buildings.
Parking lots nearby. Yeah, I get it.
Exactly. All it is just pop-up stands and people tailgating. So, so fortunately, it's been contained to just this building.
Cool.
All right. We'll move over to BB. What would you like to do?
I don't know. I don't. I'm trying to figure out what else is remaining at this point.
So, and if you have another idea, definitely let me know. But kind of the major things you can tackle are: you can continue to deal with the spreading fire. You can continue to help stop the building from collapsing. You can clear the ramp to help people on the second floor escape. You can just generally help maybe with injured people or directing people to escape. Or you could join Mark and investigate what caused this.
I don't think I have a great investigation, but I just I think BB's just as he's probably going to be getting like pushing the flames out and just trying to as best as he can to snuff these fires out. In the meantime, like as he's doing it, if he comes across any survivors, anybody else, he just goes, follow the little spore guys. They'll tell you where to go. That I can't imagine him being able to do anything else at this point.
Well, this sounds like what you're trying to do is help people escape. Let me ask, are you trying to persuade people, or are you trying to intimidate people?
Oh, definitely persuade. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You just see the cheesiest,
maybe you're trying to deceive them and trying to send them the wrong way.
Only certain people do that. But yeah, he's definitely trying to like persuade them, and you can see sometimes like as he's doing, because he does have control flames as one of his cantrips. So just as a thing, you just see him as he's going by, like whatever remaining flames are there, they make a side like arrows pointing kind of like airline like on the floors of an airplane, pointing in the direction that they need to go to.
I love it so much.
Just go that way. Hopefully you'll find it. I'm sorry. I need to take care of this now. Bye. But
give me a persuasion check with advantage.
Okay.
Because that's amazing.
Oh, okay. So the first one's not too great. Let's try that again. Oh, that's so much better. The better one is an 18.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The arrows that you make with your control flames are very clear and flash in just the right way. You, while nervous, are giving very clear directions as you are moving through the crowd to wherever it is you want to go. And people are absolutely gratefully nodding at you and following your instructions. And now there is a steady stream of people coming out the left door. And yeah, you've definitely succeeded at helping some folks escape.
Awesome. Yeah, I think he's just going to I think as he's continuing, he's just putting the flames out, and it's just a matter of like finding people, making them like either like snuffing it out or controlling it in such a way that it's out of the way of people, so that way they can have a clear path back outside. So that's all he can really do right now. He's not a very strong guy. He has a -1 in strength. So
you may have a -1 in strength, but you've got quite a bonus in coming up with creative ways of helping people escape. And thanks to what you've been doing, a lot of people are now rushing in the correct direction to get out. Which Wisteria outside, just outside of the building, you clearly see like the efforts that all of you have done are helping people basically not panic and go in the wrong direction. What would you like to do?
I think the next place where I would be valuable is doing some healing. That's something I've been trained in. I've helped out before. So I think going around and trying to help anyone who is injured, who cannot otherwise escape. If there's someone who requires really intensive care, I can also teleport them out if necessary. With face step.
I love all of these. Would you consider teleporting to the second level to see what's going on up there?
Absolutely.
Because you wouldn't very clearly know that, well, the people on the first floor are in danger. They have the easier out. There might be more people on the second floor who are unable to leave or hurt. So
the only thing I would need is to be able to see where I'm headed.
I'm gonna make that happen.
Maybe there's a clear glass floor area. They're making a cool auroral diamond themed, like they've got a little bit of Frank Lloyd Wright falling water glass house building.
Absolutely. It's a new feature on the outside of the Auroral Amphitheater, and the water now is turned off because of what's been going on, which is sad because it could help with the flames, but you get a sense it's one of those
convenient.
You get the sense it's one of those endless waterfalls, and so there's only like a bucket's worth of water anyway, just redoing it, but you can see through the glass right up to the second floor, and you arrive. Second floor, little bit more pandemonium. Not a ton of people, fortunately, because of the work all of you have been doing on the first floor. A lot of people have been able to escape, even though there's only the one ramp. You do see that there are several people up here injured, and you also see at the far end of where you've teleported is the stage for the Auroral Amphitheater, and you see what must be the performers. You see 4 humanoids. There's what looks like 2 humans, a half orc, and a tabaxi. The tabaxi and the half orc are currently over on the side, the corner that seems to be the most damaged, pulling what looks like a couple people away from the rubble. And the 2 humans seem to be shouting orders at people. The one seems to be doing a much better job of being loud enough to be heard over the chaos. You can kind of tell the one human, kind of long blondish hair, a stylish mustache, is using all of their performance flair to get attention and moving. But there are several people up here who are hurt. Were you planning on doing like a healing word or a cure wounds?
I can do
or
a
just
healing word if people need it. Yeah, absolutely. Depending on the degree of necessity.
We're gonna do something slightly different. Go ahead and roll your healing word healing and tell me how much it is total.
Okay, how severe are the injuries? Because I'm debating how.
Well, what I'm going to tell you is that the number of hit points you heal in this case will be the number of people you help. So
all right,
we're going to be less concerned
up to second level.
Okay.
And
this is basically you kind of running through and doing some triage on a bunch of people to help them get out.
So that's 9.
So yeah, 9 people you go through, you kind of help bandage up something over here. You kind of help someone stand up and give them some advice on how to get downstairs, even though their leg looks injured. A little bit of healing over here, a little bit of healing over there. And you're able to get a bunch of people who are going to get out because of you. Anything else while you're up there?
I'm gonna head toward the band.
All right. We're back to Mark. You are over in the corner investigating what happened.
I am. I mean, first thing I'll do is look over at that damaged box to see is it safe to handle? Is there like does it seem like it's landed here, or is this kind of like the origination of the explosion where there's kind of like a crater underneath it?
I'm going to say from your investigation check earlier, it's not that there's a crater, but this looks like the center point. If this box wasn't the cause of it, something nearby was. Is it safe to handle? It is not. It is wreathed in fire. And every moment that you spend, it's what looks like a sturdy metal box, but this is a very intense fire, and you watch pieces of it starting to bend and misshapen. So you don't think you have too long before more of it is going to disintegrate on you. What would you like to do?
Ooh, so it's kind of a race against the clock to see how much of this we can recover at this point. Okay, does it seem to be the source of the flames, or is it kind of caught in the middle of like, is like a box in a fireplace, or is the box the fireplace?
It looks like it's a box in a fireplace. Removing the box is not going to stop the fire at this point. It's BB's kind of stopping the fire at this point.
But if I remove the box, like it might be at some point safe to handle once it cools down.
You would assume, yeah.
From you, okay. I'm so like focused in on I have enchantment spells and I have illusion spells.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much any of those are gonna help me.
I'm not sure you could illusion something with the fire, but I'm open to anything you want to throw at me.
Do you have any items?
Mark is just gonna like no. I am going to actually just kind of close my eyes and say, all right, Beast, I'm really banking on this right now. You know, everyone else was kind of talking shit on you a little bit, and but I still have my trust in you, and you know, I'm consider this your sacrifice for the day. And I'm going to plunge my hands into the fire and try to wrench the box out.
All right. Okay. Give me either a dexterity saving throw, a strength saving throw, depending on are you trying to be quick about it? Are you trying to be forceful about it? Or since you prayed to your patron, you could give me a religion check and see if they'll answer your call.
Okay. You didn't say charisma saving throw in there, did you?
I did not say charisma save.
Okay, just checking.
But I'm keeping the DCs in mind for what I'm asking.
I'll do dexterity saving throw because I have a +2.
All right.
All right. Come on, big money, big money. I rolled another 10 on the dice, so it's 12.
With a 12, you are successful at. You basically reach in and kind of swat it out of the corner, and the box goes ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk away from the flames. And you don't take a lot of fire damage. You only take 4 fire damage.
Okay.
Because you were just quick enough to keep your hand out of getting really badly injured. And the box, now that it's on the ground, you can very clearly see you probably shouldn't touch this just yet. But because of narrative reasons, it has landed so that you can look inside of it, because it's more fun that way. And at a very quick glance, you can see this, it's a very small box. It's maybe only 4 inches, 4 inches, 4 inches. Okay. It's made out of a very thin metal, gray, nothing remarkable that you can tell immediately. And on maybe. Okay. You're unsure at this point. You would have to do a little bit more investigation.
Sure. Okay.
Probably when it's cooler. On the inside, you see something you weren't expecting. You ever see the inside of a music box? It's got the little strings on it and the little bars, and it kind of it can rotate and do a little melody. It kind of looks like that. It's all warped and destroyed, but that's what it looks like on the inside.
Okay, cool. Um,
Anything else?
and then I just react to it with my hand. Ah, damn it, beast! That hurt. That hurt. Okay, he fires your thing, not mine. Okay, good to know. Good to know.
All right. As you look over this box, BB, what would you like to do?
At this point, how is the flames looking downstairs?
They're looking real good. You've been
Okay.
able to tamp down on them. You've been able to cut off sources of fuel, essentially. Like, this building is both made out of parts of the Radiant Citadel, and then there's other accents. There's wood, there's the tables, there's all sorts of stuff. And so you've been able to cut off any further access to something that would keep the fires going, and it's starting to die down, at least on the first floor.
Okay. Then I would probably continue to make my way maybe upstairs. Like, just follow the path to see like where I can help the most in terms of flames, in terms of if there's other people up top, and inevitably make my way to the second floor. But before I do I notice anything else around me as I'm because I would imagine because it's going down, I don't need to be as focused on things in terms of flames. Do I see any other like causes of this fire as I'm putting them out? Do I see anybody that looks like they might have been a culprit in all of this? Or anybody looking shifty or?
I love it. Give me
Besides
either.
Mark?
But you know, Mark's been with you, so at least he's got a pretty good alibi. Give me either an investigation or an insight check. Depending on
insight. I'll do insight.
Finally, someone gets a charisma skill. Yay.
Nice. And that is a 19.
Nice. You scan the people down here. You scan as you're heading upstairs through the crowd, which is starting to thin as most of the people have made it out of the building. There's only a few people left. You even think back to the people that you saw initially, that you walked past, kind of gauging their demeanor, thinking about their body language, thinking about their expression, the sounds they were making. You don't think that you have been near anybody that seems shifty. What you're getting from everybody here is genuine concern and panic. Okay. So you don't think anyone who might have been involved is currently here. Okay.
Yeah, then I'll continue to go upstairs as I put the fire out. Probably and that's where Mark is at, correct?
That's where Wisteria is at. Mark Mark is on the first floor, but outside the building.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I'll just follow that path, whichever direction it leads me, to keep putting things out and controlling things. My final question before I leave: where this explosion happened? And I remember you saying that it shouldn't have, but is there any chance that the crystal at all looks affected because we're so close to it?
I'll let you give me a perception check.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an 18.
It looks undamaged.
Okay. Yeah. Then yeah, I'll just follow that path. Just continuing to do what I'm doing.
You're doing good stuff. All right. Finally, for our last round of this, Wisteria, what would you like to do?
I think I'm gonna run up to the band and say, excuse me, hello, hi, how are you all?
Yes,
are you all
hi.
doing all right? Is everyone all right?
This way is the way to go. Please, out.
Oh, I just got here to help. I know, I just came from there.
Oh, that's so good of you.
We're here to help. What happened here? Also, I'm a huge fan.
Oh, always lovely to meet a fan, especially one so talented as to be a hero and helping people. No, that's amazing. A lot has happened. I could tell the full story.
Maybe the abbreviated version?
The abbreviated version, we were playing and there was an explosion and the diamond went dark and the Keening Gloom got very, very angry. I've never seen anything like it.
Just the explosion just happened?
I mean, as far as we know, we don't have a pyrotechnics person, although I've been looking for one for a while. But we were not expecting any kind of fire to happen, and then it did. And frankly, we're very lucky that everybody here seems to be okay. Stones, are you okay? And they look over to that back corner where the Tabaxi and the half-orc seem to be helping people, and the Tabaxi turns. And you can see that some of his fur, he's got kind of gray and black mottled fur on his right side, is singed, but he doesn't look like he's harmed. And he turns back and says, I am okay. No, it's my violin, though. I don't know how it is going to be fixed. I might have to buy another one. But that is a different
I know a
problem.
wonderful luthier in Sansitlan.
Oh, are you familiar with them? Baracho strings.
Yes, they're wonderful. We also just got some recorders there. But maybe that's for a later time. But just make sure to bring it with you, and we can try and get it fixed.
And he looks around as things are starting to calm down. And definitely the fire is starting to die down. Everything is starting to be taken care of, but we're in the panic. I'm going to see, can he see? Just going to roll something real quick.
Oh, no.
He looks kind of in a panic. And then he dives for some of the rubble and pushes aside a couple of pieces of wall and other things that have fallen and pulls out, for a moment, it's the top of the violin, and there's no bottom. It's just the scroll and the fretboard, or the board. And oh
no.
This is mourning for a later time. But I am devastated. Is there anything else you would like to?
May I use fairy fire to try and locate the other part of Stones' violin?
I like that idea too much. Yes. I know that's not how it works, but yes.
Well, it does illuminate any objects in the area.
Yeah, but if you're looking to illuminate just a specific object and not everything.
Yeah, that's true.
You get the
just
sense
looking
that
specifically for the outline in all of the illumination of the broken part of the violin.
Yeah,
maybe?
yeah. Roll me a Arcana check.
Okay. Not my greatest strength. Yeah, it's a 6. It's not great.
Oh, no.
What does your fairy fire look like?
My fairy fire is using Pyrus japonica. So it is a truss of small pink and white urn-shaped flowers with white, pink, red, or bronze leaves that sort of and flutter all around and land, illuminating everything in those sort of bronzy red and pink tones.
I love
Finn
it.
came ready with that.
I literally went, this character, every spell is ties to flower language. So I actually have, I'll throw it in chat. But yeah, no, I'm a nerd.
I love it.
As the person playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Cottage core nerd. I love it. It's so much.
Nerd amongst nerds.
This gorgeous light kind of falls on this area, and it doesn't quite work the way that you hope, and you think it's mostly because Stones in Winter, this Tabaxi, and the half-orc who's also standing there are in the area, and so a lot of it kind of gravitates towards the people. And while both of them are amused because it's very pretty, you don't necessarily see the outline of the violin.
Okay, I would like to just kind of try and keep an eye out for it as I continue doing everything else. So if I can just sort of have one eye on that area.
Absolutely.
My perception is much better than my arcana.
What's your... Go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Okay.
And as you roll that, I'll say at this point, enough has been done to take care of the building, of the fire, of evacuating people, that you have successfully navigated the skill challenge, and we're out of pseudo initiative. So
that's a 15 on that 15. One.
You see that Stones and this half-orc woman are continuing to dig, and you can kind of keep an eye out. You don't see anything immediately, but you've now that you are assured that the building is secure, that the people that needed to get out are out, you can relax a little bit and just kind of keep an eye. And we're kind of out of initiative-ish. What would you like to do?
I think at this point, BB has probably, as he's walking upstairs trying to put things out, he would be in the same now area as Wisteria, right? Like he would be up in the similar area. Would he have felt any of this shifting in Arcana, or like would that have pinged him in any way? Or is it something more of that you need to be observing too?
Which were you talking about? The looking for the violin or something else?
Sorry, I think I was looking at something and I remember hearing the Arcana check part.
Oh, the Arcana check was I cast a fairy fire
Got it.
to illuminate the area to try and locate the object, the other half
okay.
of the violin.
Yeah, she was trying to do something specific with a spell.
Got it. Yeah. I had two different things happening in my head. I remember that part and this part, and then they didn't connect in my head. Okay, cool. So yeah, you just see people like, I'm here. What can I do? Are we good? Do you need help?
And immediately the tallish human that had been directing you, Wisteria, turns to you, BB, and says, "Oh yes, you're going to want to go down the ramp. Absolutely.
Oh, this is my friend BB. He's here to help us.
I'm BB.
Hi.
We got
very
here
nice to meet you.
We were on our way for the concert, though.
Oh, it was going so well. I don't understand. I mean, I hope everybody is okay. Everybody being okay is way more important than the concert, but I'm not going to lie. It hurts a bit." Over on the side, Stone's still clutching the scroll of his violin says, "Yes, it hurts quite a bit.
We're trying to find the rest of the maestro's violin so that we can get it repaired."
Oh no. Okay. I don't know if I can help that much, but I mean, just to let you guys know, like the fire's going out, people are out, so I don't think there's any major damage that has happened tonight. But where's Mark?
Speaking of,
when you say this, Mark has started walking up, like carrying the cube, but like using his robe to kind of like to block his hands and kind of cradling it and kind of juggling it. Oh God, this thing is hot. I've been wondering where you guys are. And then he looks up and sees the people's players in front of him, and he drops the cube. He's shit, and just is speechless.
There you are.
And the same the same human once again turns to you, Mark, and says, "Oh yes, you're going to want to go back down the ramp the way that you came. I know that you can get turned around in this place."
This is also our friend. We all came together.
I guess I
started following their instructions for a moment.
I guess at this point I don't need to direct people anymore. It does look like everything is a bit more calm. Okay, all right. That's good. That's good. Let's see what we can salvage.
Oh my gosh, Mark, are your hands okay?
Forget my hands. Hi, I'm Mark of the Beast. I'm a big fan.
He wants to go by like Mr. the Beast.
And the person who had been talking to you, who you well know is Quirith de Malzolino, turns back with a flourish and says, "My apologies," and especially looks at Wisteria as they say, "It is a pleasure to meet all of you. I did not have a chance to introduce myself as I was taking on a different performance of directing people down the ramp. There was a lot of confusion. Some people just don't react well to stress. But as a seasoned performer, I'm very used to being able to keep calm under even the pressure of the most argent of fires. My name is Quirith de Mazzolino. It is very nice to meet you." Yeah. You said, "Mark, Wisteria, I believe your name was?"
Yes.
And BB?
Yep, hi.
Oh, it is my pleasure. Thank you so much for helping all of these people. I don't know what would have happened if our performance had been known as such a tragedy. It probably would have made a very good story afterwards, but it's way better that this is a happy story. I like telling the happy stories better than yes.
Yeah, but happy stuff is the best stuff. I mean, Trust me, you don't want it to all go down in flames. It's not happy. That's not a fun time.
Especially when we are here a part of it. It's one thing to tell the story of destruction and devastation. It's another to live it.
Mm.
I was not ready for that tonight, for sure. Is there anything else we can help you with, or were you just here to help us? There's not much left of our stuff. We're still looking, and as they turn to look over at where so both Maestro Stones in Winter, the Tabaxi, and Zia, the half-orc, have been digging through the rubble. They've been joined by the third person of this band, Azul, as Mark knows, a darker-skinned human, and the three of them are kind of carefully picking, and Wisteria, you see it's a glint off of the light from the diamond that you just kind of very quickly see, like something shines in the rubble.
Oh, there's something there. And also, before I go to investigate that, I want to pick up the thing that Mark dropped and hand it back to him and say, "Oh,
right,
you dropped this." And then there's something there. I'm gonna just go. And
all right, yeah, Mark, she hands it back to you, and you kind of juggle for a moment.
Is it still hot?
I'm gonna say by now it's cool enough that when they picked it up, it was not gonna burn anybody because that's not fun. So yeah, it still kind of has that ooh, but it's more.
They have tough hands. Good, it's still hot for me.
Gardening, lots and lots of gardening.
Wisteria, as you walk on over to where you saw that glint and you push aside a few pieces of rubble, and what the glint that you saw is of a broken string, one of the silver strings on the violin. And as you dig in, you find the bottom of the violin, kind of down where the chin rest would be. And you pull that out gently as everybody comes on over. And you can see that the body, which the normal shape of a violin, kind of the hourglass shape, most of it's intact, but the fretboard is gone and the top of it seems to be cracked and broken where the neck and the body have been separated. And Strings comes on over and looks like he's going to grab it from you and then stops, realizing that that's probably rude, even though it's his violin, and says, you found yes,
here.
Oh, you are in bad shape. And he starts to examine the violin.
I'm so sorry.
I think I found something. I walk over, kind of regaining my faculties after being so starstruck, and then walk over to the rest of my group and say, I found this at what I think is the site of the explosion. I don't know what it is besides that it looks like a little bit like a music box.
Could I take a look at that?
By all means.
Do I sense anything magical about it?
Give me an Arcana check.
I can. That was I'm rolling good today, folks. That was a nat 20 for a total of 24.
Second nat 20.
Man.
Nice.
I swear, I think I'm being like someone's playing a cruel joke on me because I had another thing last week and I was rolling atrocious, like just nat ones after nat ones. And then I was like, all right, I guess someone was being apologetic. The dice gods are apologizing to me today, and I will take it.
Well, in your arcane expertise, looking over this small box and the pieces inside, nothing about this seems magical. This wasn't magical. You're pretty positive. Not only is it not magical now, it was not magical before. Whatever happened to this was very mundane / mechanical. With a natural 20, I'll even give you that as you kind of look inside and you examine this music box, it has some of the same coloration as the tungsten. You think parts of it are probably made out of tungsten.
So I just look at him like, I mean, there's nothing like weird or like magical about it. Just has a lot of like, I think that's tungsten? Yeah, there it is. That's a little bit of tungsten in there. Man, this is like everywhere now.
And at saying tungsten, Stones is broken out of his mourning over the violin, and is holding the pieces close to his chest, kind of like a teddy bear, but goes, really? I thought it was a rare thing. When I went to Parasho Strings, she talked about how it was something that she had only used once or twice in a lifetime, but there is something there?
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Yes, when we spoke to her, she mentioned that you have you decided to coat your strings in tungsten. Can I ask why?
Oh, not coat. Have them made. And he turns the violin to show the three of you, and you can, I'm going to say for the purposes of fun, you can kind of see now that you're looking at the box that BB is holding and the examinations that some of you have done, all four of the strings on this violin, while broken and off of the bridge, they're broken from the top. They're broken from where they would be on the very top of the violin, where the pegs would be, that they would be tightened. And you think they're not even broken, that maybe something had caused, like, all the pegs are gone off of the neck of this violin. And that's why all the strings are loose. None of the strings are actually broken, despite the fact that this violin has taken catastrophic damage. And Stones grabs the thinnest of the strings and says, I had her, when I heard about it, make them. She had been telling me about how she had... Let me back up. I had come to her because after joining this wonderful group, there had been a lot of traveling, and strings do not do well when you are traveling over plains. You would be surprised how horrible it is. It's bad enough to go from town to town, from cold to hot, but then to go from a beautiful place to beautiful place across plains, the tuning was impossible. And so I'd gone to her for strings and asked if she had any recommendations, and she had said that, and she pointed to a cello and said that she had had some luck with making out of tungsten these strings. And I said, would that work? And she said, well, we can always try, because if they were made out of this metal, they would be so much more able to handle the pressures of an outstanding performer like myself. And it took a couple of days and a couple of tries, but yes, as you can see, like, the body of my violin is, I don't know if this will be replaced, but I think I could probably pull the strings off and use these again on my new instrument. And he kind of pulls at one of them taut and uses a claw to go ding, 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 ding. And you hear that, yeah, the E string on it is still usable.
Ooh, that's a tough thing right there. But I mean, if it's only you being used for musical purpose here, why?
Well, but if it's protecting things as they travel through the plains, isn't it possible that this box was protecting something as it traveled through the plains?
But if the point of tungsten is to be durable in its travel through planes, why does this one have such a huge so much damage to it in the explosion?
Well, I can say, not only is tungsten incredibly durable, but the reason that it works so well is it is durable at very, very fine amounts. This string has to be incredibly thin in order to get just the right vibrations on it. And there's not many things that can be that strong and yet that flexible. And the luthier there had said that the reason it was so good was because this metal is good at doing that, but also at high temperatures. And she had been working with somebody like a year ago to do this. And that the only reason that she didn't use them more often is because it was very expensive. My friends, as gorgeous as these strings are, I really spent the last 3 months worth of my pay in order to pay for these. And I thought that they would pay off in the long run because we were going to be doing this whole tour. And now I'm going to have to buy an all new violin. So that's going to be difficult.
Well, the strings are safe. It just seems like you just need to find the body.
I found the body, and he holds up both sections and says, but you are right. At least the expensive strings are still available.
Would you excuse us for a second? And I call like the group over like for a huddle. Goes, so if these things are that expensive, someone rich is probably the one that's buying it all up, right? Like to be able to buy enough to just pull an entire like ethereal creatures, like plane hopping creatures and tie them down. They would be pretty rich to be able to just purchase things like that.
So we know that there was a company that's been buying the tungsten as well, right? From the factory?
You know that there's some that most of the people who buy from Marfil are companies that make industrial stuff, that they're really the only it's not a specific person. It's just we're buying enough tungsten to be able to coat this giant saw to go do big saw things. And that the reason that the luthier stood out is because she was the first person in the memory of the person who was running the factory to be a private citizen who had bought any amount of tungsten. So in fact, I think he said, and if he didn't, I'm going to say that he would have said, he usually doesn't sell to private people because it's such a difficult metal to work with. But Marissa Huepe, being local, was able to convince him to bend the rules a little bit.
Did Marissa tell us who she sold the original strings to before Stones and Winter?
No, she did not.
I'm just thinking, considering that besides commercially, the only use that we have even heard about this tungsten is for strictly musical purposes, as well as this box being a musical instrument in itself, that maybe we look to see who the other buyer was from the luthier.
So I think that's not a bad idea. I mean, if Master Stones needs to go back there to try and have this repaired, maybe we can go along and ask specifically there.
Hearing his name, one of the Tabaxi's ears turns and comes over to you and says, "Did I hear correctly that you think a music box did this?"
Well, does this look like a music box to you?
And he gets on his tippy toes because he's a bit shorter than you are and looks on in. And I'm going to have him roll real quick. I've never seen a music box after it has become a bunch of parts. So I am unsure. I've never heard of a music box exploding though, but I've also never heard of anything that happened here with the storm and the diamonds and the boom. All of this is kind of new to me. It's very exciting and also very worrying.
But I mean, like, why here? Like, who might have? And maybe this is like a part of like kind of like a part and a bigger mechanism. Mark, did you find anything else around this, or was this the only thing there?
No, I didn't find anything else. What I'm wondering is what if it was an accident that it showed up here? Maybe this wasn't a target for anything. Like it's supposed to go between planes. That's kind of the use for tungsten. What if that was just an accidental target that ended up here?
My head hurts. I don't know.
I think we go to speak to the luthier.
Are there any markings on the music box that would indicate ownership or any style of design that's still visible on it? I know it's pretty warped, but
yeah. Give me an investigation check, but as you do, I'll say what's clear to all of you is there's nothing obvious. There's Nothing on the outside that even comes close to being a stamp or a mark. And you're unsure, but you don't think you see anything on the inside, but give me an investigation check.
Okay. No, I don't want to add that. Oh, that's not bad. 18.
Nice.
Looking at it, you don't see any kind of telltale marking, no signature, no stamp, no nothing. And you take another look at it from the perspective of it being a music box. And you pull out, there's a part of it, and the reason you think this was originally a music box is there's the part of the music box that has the little metal bits on it that go ding,
the
ding,
cylinder.
ding.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that actually do the dinging. And this one, instead of it having a cylinder, there's nothing there. So you pull out where the little arms are, because you know that that's kind of the main mechanism. And you look under it and you don't see any markings. And you think that's odd, because that's where a craftsman would put their mark. That's where they would, because this is kind of the heart of this mechanism. And you look back in the box one last time now that the small bit has been taken out, and you see on what is now the bottom of the box, a really small, thin piece of metal, like a wire.
I'm going to go ahead and take a closer look at that.
And as you pick it up, it's impossibly thin. It's barely bigger than a hair. And it's not that long either. It's maybe 2 inches at most. And it's incredibly light, or it's incredibly heavy for its size, but flexible. You're pretty sure this is made of tungsten as well. And Stones looks over and says, "Oh, it's like a little mini one of my strings. How adorable. I've heard of those little tiny violins you're supposed to play when people are very upset, but I did not know that they could be inside of music boxes."
I hadn't known that either. That's strange.
Does it seem to be that's not obviously what is the source of the music coming from the music box? It's not like that string gets plucked, is it?
Not normally. Normally, what happens in a music box is those little metal arms and the cylinder that Wisteria was talking about, but there's no cylinder.
Master Stones, is it possible to play this? I know it's very small, but
that is a challenge. I must try. Let's see what we can do. We need to connect it to 2 things. We need to, well, why not? And he grabs his violin, the bottom of it, the box, and takes the string, and he pulls off from where the strings are connected to the bottom of the violin. He pulls off the E string and puts it in a pocket. And then you watch as he very delicately, but with expert precision of someone who has done this hundreds, thousands of times, winds the one end to the end of the violin so that it is now attached to the violin. And then you watch as I don't know what else to it. I need it attached to something else so I can draw with the bow. If any ideas of what I can...
I mean,
I have my dagger.
I have a crowbar.
Phoebe, give me back my talisman, please.
What might you need for this?
Just anything I can anchor it to. Usually it gets anchored to, and he pulls out the neck, which is not only completely unattached, but it would be way longer. His strings are way longer than this tiny, tiny little string. So he's basically holding up like this 2-inch thread, and he needs something else to hold it taut.
I'm trying to think.
I mean, I can craft whatever he needs with a song of creation, a performance of creation. If
Yeah,
he can
okay.
describe it to me, that will be my use of it for the day. I will make.
Yeah.
I mean, I can make the world's smallest violin.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yes.
As you say that, Stones looks up at you and says, I mean, that would work perfectly. Can you make a tiny violin? And then I could actually make this come true.
I look carefully at his, masterwork violin, and I start imagining that in a much smaller miniature form and not broken, and begin sort of I take out a couple of different seeds and I put them in my hand and they start to grow and they form this small, beautifully formed, high quality violin.
I love it so much. Oh God, that's amazing. Okay.
Woo!
It only lasts for 2 hours, but
but it's 2 hours well spent with the world's tiniest violin. Stones is ecstatically delighted. Like as you produce this thing, he actually like jumps up and down and goes, "This is amazing! Oh yes, hold it right there." And he unattaches the little thread from his violin and puts it down and comes up while you're holding this just miniature, like fairy-sized violin. And with delicate claws and once again, expert precision, because you've literally recreated his violin in miniature, he's able to attach one end and draw the string across and pull it into where the pegs are, and hold it for a moment. I don't think I could actually do the thing up in my chin, but if you hold it, I can play it. And he runs off and goes to his case where you can see him pull out his bow, which seems to be unharmed. And he comes over, and at this point, the other three players from the People's Players have also joined you on stage, as they're just fascinated by this tiny little violin and the things that you were talking about. And do you hold the mini violin for him as he plays?
absolutely.
So you hold it up, and he delicately takes the bow, and he has to turn it on its side because the width of his normal bow is basically the width of this tiny violin. But he turns it on his side and very slowly starts to pull across the string. And it's almost imperceptible. Not just because it's quiet, but it's so high.
Mm.
And it's a kind of a beautiful note, because Wisteria has done such a massively awesome job recreating this tiny little violin. And it's haunting in how beautiful it is, but it's so high. And I need all three of you to give me perception checks.
Ooh, okay.
While this just happened, Mark like lets go of this breath that he's always been holding on to, and he kind of leans over to BB and says, "I was a little bit worried that it would explode again."
Oh, that would have been. Oh gosh. Oh, we don't want that again. Oh, that would be bad. Do you hear that?
Really? 17?
19?
17.
Wow. All right. I mean, this kind of makes sense. You're a little on edge, both because of what Mark said, but just in general. Stones is drawing the bow across this string. Everybody else is kind of crowded around. And because you were on the stage, which butts right up against the diamond, the three of you immediately notice something that Wisteria and BB have seen before, but Mark has not.
Okay.
Right next to where Stones is. He's not right up against the diamond, but basically in a line from where he is to the diamond, a very small portion of it grows darker.
Stop. Oh God, stop.
Was it not? I mean, it was such a beautiful E. I could not
No.
stop.
Why would
It
you
was
tell the
amazing.
maestro to stop? Why would you tell them?
Look. And he points at the crystal.
As soon as he stopped playing, it fades incredibly quickly. It's just, but pointing to it, the rest of the People's Players see it, and they all startle, and they're like, I did not do that, did I?
I mean, it started around exactly when you started playing it.
That is...
Do you think that this entire fire, someone started it because they wanted you not to play your instruments? Because that would happen?
I mean, they could have just told me that it was going to be bad. I certainly... I am a performer of joy, not of destruction.
I have a question, Maestro, if you would let me. May I string your tungsten strings upon my lute?
Absolutely, if it's going to help with this mystery. And he reaches back into his pocket.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I give Wisteria a little high five.
High five back.
He pulls out all the strings and hands them to you. I like this idea too much. I'm not going to make you roll on it. It's awkward because obviously violin strings and lute strings are not the same, and you have to do a little bit of jerry working and jerry rigging. That's the word I'm looking for. Words. To get it to work. But yeah, you get all 4 of the strings on there.
And I strum and see and look at the diamond.
Nothing happens. You just kind of strum a chord, I assume.
Yeah.
Nothing happens.
Okay, I unstring it and then give it back to Stones and Winter. Just a little experiment.
That was very beautiful, though.
It's just because your strings had nothing to do with my talents, I promise you.
Do not sell yourself short, my friends. Even the most beautiful of instruments needs expert hands to play. You are in a dance with your instrument, and if your partner is boring, then you cannot flow. And if you are not excellent, your partner can't sing.
This is the greatest day of my life. Thank you.
So what now? Why do we think this happened?
I kind of want to play it again. Is it bad if I want to play the little tiny violin again if it does that to the I mean,
Wisteria and BBC, you seem to have recognized what it could to the diamond. Why was it going dark so concerning?
Oh, the last time we saw it happen was with the creatures that attacked, and one jumped onto it, and it just became shadowy and dark where it landed.
Yep.
You were attacked by creatures that made the whole diamond dark?
Oh, you okay?
Oh, look at this rubble over here.
Oh, what's wrong? And he turns.
Wisteria, like realizing that was not, we were kind of told not to talk about the attack. So he's like, I'm gonna be over here looking at things. Want some tea? Have some tea for everybody. I'm gonna make some tea.
I mean, he follows you not just because you've helped everybody, but you're also still carrying the tiny little violin with the tiny little string, and you can tell he's kind of enamored by that. While Wisteria takes a moment to make sure that the cat isn't as curious as they should be about something, the 2 of you get a chance to now speak to the other 3 of the people's players, and Aquirith, the leader, the human that was trying to help direct people, comes up to you and says, I hope that this doesn't mean that we are under any kind of investigation for this. I mean, I'm more than happy to make a statement, do a sit down. I've never done this kind of thing.
Guards in this city.
Yeah, I'm just like a shop owner. I don't really have a lot of that sort of
I'm
authority.
very important. Don't get me wrong, but I am not civilly, municipally important.
But if you don't mind, maybe we should. Could we send you to? What was Bashir's character name?
Malik.
Malik. He goes. I mean, I'm sure if you have any statements to make, we can get you in touch with Malik. I'm sure he'd be very interested in all of this. He's been kind of looking into strange things happening.
Well, that is incredibly strange, and I'm sure we would be more than happy to tell you whatever we can about what happened. But
You told us everything you know so far.
well, I gave the very, very quick bullet points to your friend over there, but I was still under the impression that we were in a life or death situation, so I might not have given her or them all of the details. What did I say?
While he's talking, though, out of curiosity, would we be able to pick up? Does he give off like an innocent vibe? Is there any?
Yeah, can I do an insight check now?
I think you both can absolutely do an insight check.
Yeah, he just something about him.
12.
That 15.
Both of you don't think he's hiding anything. You don't get the sense that this is that there's anything shifty going on. Maybe you think this is a consummate performer. And now, especially that you've talked to Stones, who's also a consummate performer, it's not that they're putting on a show. This is just how they are. It's just naturally kind of bigger than life. And so you think that I'm being led down a way, I'm being put on, I'm being bamboozled is really just someone who doesn't know how to turn it off.
Okay.
Meanwhile, as they take a second to think through what they had told Wisteria, I'm going to say, Wisteria, you've suitably distracted Stones in where he is not as concerned about this monster that you were talking about. And if you'd like, the two of you can wander on back as you think you hear the other performer talking about, you hear your name actually.
Oh. I wanted to, first of all, I'm going to sit down with T, and if I can, I'm going to go ahead and do, I can do Song of Rest. This is the T is my Song of Rest equivalent. So
Yeah.
if people need to recover any hit points from their, if we want to take a short rest while we're talking, and people want to go ahead and recover some additional hit points for that.
I also love the idea of you coming back with Stones and just like on a little tray, you've got the little tea set, and now everybody's just going to sit on the stage with this tea set as the story is told. Oh, this is lovely. This is amazing. I did not know that you, this is fantastic. This is definitely going to help with the story. I've been needing something to coat my throat. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Your friends had asked me about to give the description of what happened, which I think I gave to you, but I might have been curt, and I apologize for that. Let me.
Oh, we thought it was a life or death situation. So
Exactly. Let me think for a moment. Okay. We were in the middle of death of the fashion mafia. It was right at the height of the part where the battle is happening. And Zia stops at that point, and they point over at the half orc, this gorgeous woman in what you would think is like evening wear, like sparkly lounge wear, still immaculate despite having been shifting through rubble and everything. And she just nods and says, "Yes, I don't sing that part." And Quereth continues, yes, we'd gotten past where she was singing and Stones was starting his solo, because that's where the whole exciting climax of the story is happening, where the ruffians and the heroes have engaged each other and the whole town is watching, and then somewhere in the solo, that's when it happened. The explosion. And when I looked back, because how could you not look at that incredible, terrifying explosion? Something about a moment ago when Stones played the tiny little violin and it made the little darkness. There was that. The orange had gone duller, and the storm. And he points up at the keening gloom, the constant, giant, ethereal storm that is perpetually circling the Radiant Citadel that you all know is, no one knows where it came from. No one knows why it's there. All people know is that it is deadly. Anyone who goes into it never comes out. And they point up at it and said, I could swear it growled and got closer.
Wait, are you saying like when you played the strings, it did?
I don't know if... Stones, do you think your performance set this off? And Stones takes a moment. He looks like he's going to protest, like once again say, I had nothing to do with this. No, of course not. And then he looks at the tiny little violin you're holding, Wisteria, and says, that is an E. I was playing the E7 when that happened. It's the high note of the whole performance. That can't be a coincidence, can that?
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know what that means, but that is the same note. I know my music, and you do not go too much higher than that. And with the thaumaturgy and everything going on, to go higher than that, and some people, their hearing range just gets, it's inaudible, and it's the climax of the whole performance. But it is, that note is what that note is. And he points once again to the tiny little string on your tiny little violin.
Do you think then, because this was supposed to be like the final note of your performance, that's when the bad stuff was supposed to happen? Like,
it is the climax of this song, but we still had a whole set and a half, right? And they confer for a second, and this piece was, they were supposed to perform for 2.5 hours with a 15-minute intermission, and they were like in the first hour. Like they hadn't even finished the first half yet. So while this was the climax of this piece, there was plenty more to play.
Had you hit that note earlier in the performance at all?
No, not yet. I might have flourished on a run later on, but the whole point of hitting that note is but Zia, it's like when you hit that high note that breaks glass. You don't want to do that very often. It is a power you reserve for very important situations. And also an E7 is very hard to hit and stay in tune.
Is that the sort of note that they would use in something like a whistle that could only be heard by creatures?
I don't know, but it is, like I said, an incredibly high note. Higher than that I can go, but it gets thin, and there are very many beings who can't hear up that high. The same down low. You only go so low. You want to stay in a good range, and especially with the thaumaturgy, it was going to be very loud, and to go outside of that range would just be acoustically uncomfortable.
I still think we need to go see the Lucier.
I think so too.
Yeah, I'm lost. I can't think of anything else we can do here.
She can at least tell you about the person that had commissioned her for the original strings, because this was something that she talked about.
Maybe she recognizes the music box.
It's possible. And we can also ask at the factory if they recognize it as well. But just out of curiosity, are you familiar with the Song of the Diamond?
I'm going to have him roll. Hold on a second. Could you hum a few bars and maybe I can play it?
I will do so.
Okay. I'm trying to remember, because the proclaimer didn't sing the Song of the Diamond. It was
okay. It was we got the poetry of it, right?
You got the poetry of it. It's basically an extended tone poem type thing, but it's called stylistically the Song of the Diamond.
Okay.
So there is not a tune that goes with that poem. And I'll even say if you show Stones some of the words, he doesn't recognize it.
Okay.
It's very evocative, though.
Why don't we go visit Luthia now?
Yeah, I think that's like, I can't think of anything else. So I think that's the best option that we got.
You think we should maybe tell Malik what's going on before we go?
Well, maybe Meister Winter can come with us, and Quereth can go tell Malik. Since you seem so like you need to tell the gods of the city about what has happened.
Well, this sounds like this is not only a terrible situation, but also something that's obviously three very powerful people are investigating, shopkeeper or no. You are amazing. Have any of you thought about going into show business? We've been looking for some help.
I mean,
I
know.
have
Sorry.
in the past.
He's an actor.
Until I received my call from the Beast himself, I did dabble in the creative arts. And,
again, you've given up your dream because of the Beast, and that seems kind of unfortunate to me.
Yes, but I mean, these are people's players. They don't want someone like me. I mean, I might be good enough for the Beast, but not for them.
You should hear him play Hot Cross Buns.
It's the best hot cross buns I've ever heard.
Well, I saw the lute that you pulled out, and while you only strummed one chord, it was certainly lovely. And more importantly, what we're looking for is, we're essentially looking for someone who could be our bouncer and help. The four of us have gotten to the point where we can't keep up with everything that we need to do, and we need half promotion, half helping us move things. And all of you seem to have such presence about you. You commanded people, you helped people. And so, they're looking directly at you now, Mark, and if you were at all interested, if whatever it is doesn't work out, we would be more than happy to have you brought on. We're probably going to be here for a little while because, I have to tell somebody the story. And Stone speaks up and says, it is going to take at least a couple of days for me to replace my violin. I need to test out many instruments.
I mean, he's got 1,000 years, so I feel like
I do have a long time. I've been promised by a very credible source. You said you needed a promoter and a bouncer. I mean, usually when I talk to people new, they do one of two things. They either are so entranced with what I'm saying that they will follow me wherever I go, or they will immediately turn heel and walk away. So it sounds like both of those jobs can be handled.
That sounds perfect to me. You tell the people that we want to come to our performance, to follow you, like one of those minstrels of old who would lead people into a performance, into the town square. And then for the rabble who just want to try to steal from us, you can give them stern talkings too.
This seems to be a call even greater than the Beast has given me. I mean, as you said, BB, there are 1,000 years to have this prophecy be taken care of. I think I can spend a couple of them following around the people's players as a groupie.
I'm just imagining Mark having a 1,000-year training montage at this point.
Especially since none of the people's players are even going to live near that long, and so it becomes the people's players too, the
it's like the Dread Pirate Roberts of the people's players.
exactly You just end up being the
have you ever considered barding? You'd make a wonderful people's player.
In the meantime, BB, say that again.
No, I've taken on the moniker of Quereth.
There you go. Eventually your barding gets good enough that you are Quereth, and it's amazing.
Use Mask of Many Faces to turn into Quereth.
Oh my god. We have created a monster.
Do you do that right now, or do you?
Yeah, sure.
Quereth starts to laugh in glee and says, Perfect. Not only do we have a promoter, not only do we have a bouncer, we have someone who can come on for me when I cannot sing. This is amazing.
I mean, understudy has been my job for years, and I can, if there's ever paparazzi or adoring crowds, I can lead them away and then turn into somebody else.
This is perfect. I am so upset that this whole situation has happened, but I am so grateful that it has brought you to us. If you
Trust
want,
me, I am the one who is grateful.
And they come forward and hold out their hand to shake and says, I would love for you to join us if you are at all interested.
It would be my greatest honor. And just checking with the beast. Yeah, he said it's okay. Yeah.
Good. We don't want to have cross purposes. You never want to double book yourself. That is just ripe for disaster. But definitely tell us if there is going to be a conflict coming up. We don't want to get in the way, especially over a 1,000-year engagement. Yeah, we'll work on that.
It's a long time to sign a contract for.
Yes, I mean, our contract is really only just
a lot of
generalized.
On my resume otherwise.
So I see you haven't worked in 1,000 years.
You only have this one employer, but you say that they've been around for 1,000 years. Are you sure about that? Are you sure you're not a cleric? What's going on here?
Do you have any other references?
In the meantime, BB like looking around, and he goes, I don't know how much I can help, but I can do this. And then he starts like prestidigitation, and he starts shooting like sparkles out of his hands. Just be like, I mean, I don't know if you need like someone out in the streets being a promoter. I was a merchant, so I'm like really good at like selling things to people.
I get down on my knee and put my hand on BB's shoulder again. I say, BB,
yeah,
I'm telling you this with the most admiration and honesty in my heart that I can muster. You are meant for more. You have a gift. And
you mean my recorder?
I do mean your recorder. And while the people's players, they have talent, they have it, you have the X factor. And you need to go on a solo tour. You are...
is he turning me away?
You are better than them.
This is the kindest.
They will only hold you back.
You just see BB's eyes go wide. I didn't know I had that much talent.
Over Mark's shoulder, Querith looks at you and says, you are absolutely very talented. Also, we only have the money to hire one person. I'm very sorry because your fireworks are amazing.
He just starts playing hot crossbow. He's just like, he's now in his own little world. He has been never praised this way before in his life.
And it is with that, as Wisteria, you are going to head off and collect some of your friends to go back to talk to the Luthier, as BB is thinking about a career as a solo recording artist. Literally,
solo recorder artist.
yeah. I was going there. Yeah. And Mark has now found a new calling with a new group of people. We will pause here. And the next time we get together, the group is going to change a little bit because we'll have Justina and Cricket back, and we will have a new guest joining us for a couple of episodes as we head back to Sansitlan. But before we go, I want to give our wonderful players a chance to reintroduce themselves. And I will say before you get a chance to do that, thank you to both KP and Johnny for joining me on, and all of us on this musical adventure and being awesome players and rolling with all of the ridiculousness. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And we will say goodbye in the same order we did at the beginning.
Yeah, I am Jen Kretschmer. You can find me on Twitter as @DreamWisp. You can find me streaming on Twitch as DreamWispJen. On Mondays, I am usually on my channel. Tuesdays, I am on Demiplane on Children of Erte with Lauren. Wednesdays, I am on Renegade's channel playing Vampire the Nightlife. And then Fridays, I am here. I'm an author, a performer, a disability consultant. I do all sorts of weird jobs. And this has been such a blast. I love these adventures. So, yeah. Tons of fun.
I am Johnny Stanton. You can find me at Twitter, Twitch, Instagram at Johnny Stanton IV. Hopefully, you can find me playing on Sundays very soon. But until then, you can actually find me in the Anansi's Tapestry of Lives. I wrote a character in there. So go check out that book. Kickstarter's coming out soon.
Thank you all so much for having me on this. It was so fun. My name is KP. I go by KP Levin Studios on all of your social medias. And oh man, thank you for letting me play one of my most favorite characters I've ever played. This was so fun, and y'all were so fantastic. On top of that, on top of being able to play with these fantastic people, you can catch me next week. Some of the big ones, big two things that are happening every Wednesday, both on Wednesday now at least. I'm a part of our wonderful moderator Dan Munoz on his Nat One Funds channel as a D&D game. If you like isekai genres where people get sucked into a different world, we play as our players who got sucked into their own D&D game. So we're playing players playing their players. And it's a riot. We're running around in the Feywild. So do check us out on Nat One Fun's channel. It's called Running Feywild. We have a very fun group. 2 episodes ago, we fought Sanic, essentially. So yeah, you know, if that doesn't tell you how serious we are, I don't know what else to tell you. And then on top of that, on the same every Wednesday, it's a pre-recorded show. So luckily, don't worry, I'm not able to split myself into 2 places at once. I'm a part of a really ambitious project being sponsored by Cobalt Press called Tales of the Wasted West. It is a Western cowboy-themed D&D game, and it's really fun. I really enjoyed it. So please do check us out. Episode 2 will drop next week. Episode 1 is up on their YouTube channels by Realmsmith TV. A huge, fantastic cast of people and run by the ever-talented Jason from Realmsmith. So yeah, and then anything else, you can find me on Twitter and catch the announcement there.
And I've been your humble DM, Lauren. You can find me on Twitter as Lauren. You can find me doing all sorts of things with the Idle Champions community, as I am the content coordinator for Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. Thank you to everybody in chat for joining us for this adventure. We hope to see you next week. Thank you to our producers who, without, we would have to run the production while we're playing, and that is hard. And so the producers make our lives easy. So thank you so much. And thank you to my wonderful players, who has been a joy to DM for you, and hopefully for those that are going off to play other places, I'll get a chance to play with you again soon. But for now, thank you for joining us. And wherever you are in the universe, we hope we have brought the joy of the Radiant Citadel to you.